Nader getting on base, for Robinson to be able to come through those clutch hits. That's going to be key today.
So a Friday night pitching rematch, as you said, and for UCLA starter Taylor Tinsley, the right-hander, has been so good all season long, but only went 2 innings on Friday night. What do you think wasn't working for her in the circle?
You know, there was a lot that didn't go UCLA's way that entire game, starting with the defense and then not being able to come through on offense. So it was a tough job for Tinsley on Friday, and I'll bet she's really excited to have another opportunity at the Wildcats today.
Bruins in the white, Northwestern in the black, and Tinsley offers a first pitch ball to Grace Nito, the Northwestern second baseman, who's had a tremendous series, 3 hits in the opener, including a home run. She followed it up with another knock yesterday. Here's the 1-0 from Tinsley, and it's in there for a called strike.
And it's interesting with Tinsley, right away, a couple of off-speed pitches. Coming into this series, we knew this was going to be an effective pitch, a key pitch on both sides to keep these hitters off balance.
Mark Corris is the home plate umpire today. Strike 2.
A similar looking pitch. I love the approach so far. You really get into a hitter's head. Now Nito has to try to adjust to something hard, high. Tinsley can throw the ball up in tight on the hands.
She goes low that time, and the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the ground past the second baseman, Savannah Pola, and Grace Nito continues to rake in the leadoff spot for Northwestern.
It was great adjusting at the plate for Nito. She saw a couple of off-speed pitches and then just had to stay quiet and fire the barrel on the speed. Sits back, drives this one up the middle. A great piece of leadoff hitting.
Tinsley wants a new softball from Mark Corris, as Kaylee Avasado, the Northwestern shortstop, ready to dig in on the right side for the first time today. Avasado entered the weekend batting .379, just a first year for the Cats. 1 for 8 in the first 2 games of this series. Hunting at the first pitch, it's caught on a flare by the shortstop Kanaya Bragg. 1 away.
It's a big break for the Bruins because Avasado has been swinging a pretty hot stick with that lead runner on. Ideally, you want to put something down on the ground and just gets it off her handle.
Kelsey Nader takes ball 1 inside. Nader, another player at the top of the lineup for Northwestern that hasn't really gotten it going in this series. It's been the bottom of the lineup, Amanda, that has really generated a lot of the runs for Northwestern. This is slapped and picked up on a bounce by Alexis Ramirez, the catcher. She has no play.
And keep in mind, Alexis Ramirez behind the plate hasn't made a start since early last season. And I love that she hops up, she goes and gets this, but take a look at the spin. You can see that backspin, and with the speed of Nader, you almost have to take the chance to let that go foul.
We'll keep an eye on that, if that has any ripple effect here on the course of this top of the first inning. It's been a long time since Ramirez started a game. A knee injury cost her the majority of the 2024 season and the first half of this season. She's been in the lineup since late March as the designated player. Did catch 4 innings last weekend in the Bruins sweep of Michigan, but getting her first start in well over a year here today. Kansas Robinson grounds it to second. Pull it to short. The relay throw to first is in time. Robinson legs out the double play, so it's just a fielder's choice. Runners on first and third after Robinson is safe.
And almost an opportunity for a double play. Great job, Pola, over to Bragg, over to Grant. Slightly late, runner advances to third base. That's Nito now, 60 feet from home.
Ball one upstairs to Isabel Cania. This is hit hard past Pola at second. It scores Nito from third, and Northwestern takes a 1-0 lead. Then the throw nearly gets into the dugout, third base side. That was Kansas Robinson diving into third. She stays there.
Cania, who had a couple of hits yesterday, including a home run, a nice base hit RBI to right field. Caitlin Terry fires over to Bragg, who misses the glove of Woolery. Good thing Robinson was on the ground, not able to get up, respond, and go home. But Northwestern, you're wondering how you're going to respond coming out to this ball game, and it was really important for the Wildcats to jump ahead early.
That was one of Northwestern head coach Kate Drohan's keys to us when we talked to her before the series. As Bridget Donahue cuts and misses and is quickly down 0-2. Northwestern hasn't always started on time, but now in 2 of the 3 games on the road against UCLA, they have, and looking for a big first inning. 1-2.
I think we kind of expected this out of the Wildcats. Started yesterday's game a little slow, but really turned it on offensively near the end of that ball game. Would love to continue with what they started yesterday into today.
The UCLA defense, we talked to you about Alexis Ramirez starting at the catcher position for the first time since February of 2024. Expected to catch around 3 innings today. The rest of the outfield remains the same. Caitlin Terry was Saturday's starter. She threw a complete game, 9 strikeout performance for UCLA yesterday. She's out there in right field. And that's a big strikeout for Taylor Tinsley to catch Bridget Donahue looking and send us to the bottom of the first, 1-0 Northwestern.
But if you're Ramirez, to be back behind the plate, to be swinging the stick the way you are, especially going here into the postseason.
Lauren Boyd, the grad senior for Northwestern, has had a tremendous career, but her game on Friday against UCLA, one of the signature performances of her career, a complete game shutout on the road against the number 6 team in the country. She only allowed 3 hits, hit a batter, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Awfully high bar to pitch up to in another start against the Bruins.
And this is going to be a giant challenge for Lauren Boyd because of what she was able to do on Friday. You know UCLA went to work, did their homework. They were swinging the stick yesterday, and they expect a better performance out of themselves against Boyd today.
Fires outside to Jessica Clements, the leadoff batter for UCLA, who had some extra base power yesterday, 2 doubles on Saturday to give her a single season career high 13 now on the season. This is on the ground to second. Nito retires Clements, and there's 1 away. The Northwestern defense has been on point, especially in the opener on Friday. We've talked a lot about the good work at third by Bridget Donahue, Avasado, the first-year player, Nito and Robinson with a lot of experience on the infield, Kania, Lindsay, Nader in the outfield, and Lauren Saborski, speaking of backup catchers, catching all 3 games of this series for Northwestern with Emma Ray in concussion protocol.
Yeah, Saborski has both been stellar behind the plate, including that gem Boyd threw on Friday, but then yesterday, you know, we kept talking about her ability to transition from pitcher to pitcher seamlessly. That's not easy to do. And she's also been swinging a great stick.
1-0 to Savannah Pola, just behind the bag at first. And Kansas Robinson takes care of Pola. 2 up and 2 down. I know we're only 2 batters in, Amanda, but the approach has been interesting for UCLA, and not working any counts yet as Jordan Woolery takes a strike on the inside.
Yeah, 5th pitch of the inning with already 2 outs. Boyd is throwing a lot of strikes. UCLA is swinging early in the count. Because she's got that off speed, it's important to make sure you're on time.
Woolery quickly down in the count, 0-2. However, this is a player who very rarely strikes out. Only 12 strikeouts on the season for Jordan Woolery, the junior from Walnut Creek, California, up in the Bay Area. Hitting .420 on the season after a 3-hit afternoon yesterday. Opposite way, Kansas Robinson is there, and the first baseman wins a foot race with the former UCLA first baseman, now third baseman, Jordan Woolery. 3 up, 3 down for the ace, Lauren Boyd. Stevens, Jayla Castro, Lauren Hatch, Kate Blunt, and Jada Cecil rounding out that senior class. Amanda, what do you think when you reflect on your own career seeing senior day here today?
Well, it's just rough when you do it before the game because there's so many emotions around it. You know, you kind of stir it up, not just for the athletes on the field, but the coaching staff as well. I'm sure when every one of those seniors walks out, you reflect back on the time you've spent with them, whether it's been 1 year or 4 or 5 years. So then to have to turn it around and get focused in on a game this important, I mean, that's gotta be tough.
1 ball and 1 strike from Taylor Tinsley to Lauren Saborski, a Northwestern senior. 2-1 now on Saborski, who's carved out a nice role largely as a pinch hitter for Kate Drohan this season for the Cats, but again has been inserted into the starting lineup this series and has played quite well. Hit a home run yesterday on the check swing. Saborski did not go around on the appeal to first base umpire Aaron Peterson, so the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Here's the home run yesterday for Saborski. Just her 2nd home run of the season, 6th career home run, but she's actually been heating up at the plate. She hit her first home run just last weekend against Wisconsin. Did not hit a home run at all her junior year. Kind of going out on her terms, but Tinsley strikes her out with a rise ball, and there's 1 away in the 2nd.
And what Tinsley is doing really well right now is she's throwing that drop or the changeup effectively down in the zone, but then coming up high and hard with the rise ball. 2 very difficult pitches to adjust to one another.
Ayanna Lindsay bunts it foul, and the count 0-1. So, Amanda, now we're getting to the dangerous part of the Northwestern lineup, at least this weekend. Saborski, Lindsay, Garden. Saborski and Garden have hit home runs. Lindsay's got 4 RBI in the series. Lindsay is also a senior, ironically from Iowa City, Iowa, another Big Ten town. Again, tempted by that rise ball for Tinsley, and that time it costs the Northwestern batter a strike. 1-2 on Lindsay.
And we've seen Tinsley get into these counts a lot, getting ahead, working no balls, 2 strikes, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and now needing that finishing pitch.
That was one thing we talked about on Friday, the 2-strike, 2-out production for Northwestern is UCLA didn't quite have a put-away pitch in that Friday opener.
And even a pitch like that, that's an effective 2-strike pitch. One that you at least gain information out of the hitter, get her leaning. We talked about that soft changeup to the hard rise ball. Get her leaning on the changeup, then think about going back high, because you did see Lindsay check swing at that last rise ball.
2-2, peeled right back.
Those two pitches, changeup, rise ball. We'll see if we go back down to the changeup or just a little higher upstairs to get the swing and miss.
Lindsay pulls it to third. Woolery across the diamond, and there are 2 outs.
So we talked about the positioning of those corners. Woolery by the bag. She does field that on a line drive cleanly, so just throwing it to be sure.
Strike called to Avery Garden. Avery Garden, first-year player for Northwestern, still largely unknown across the Big Ten, but showing her power in this series and late in the season. Now 5 home runs, 2 already against UCLA, 1 Friday, 1 Saturday. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tinsley makes quick work of Avery Garden. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Tinsley. The side retired in order, and the big boppers for UCLA coming up. Megan Grant leads off the second inning when we come back. One with the bases loaded. So here she is working against Lauren Boyd. And she gets hit on the first pitch. Somewhat anticlimactic, Amanda, but Grant takes her base.
I mean, you don't want Grant to hit the pitch, so you have a couple of different options, this being one of them. I know it wasn't intentional, but you don't want to put it over the plate, so you try to, you know, jam her inside. It didn't look like it was a hard pitch, probably going off speed, gets away from her, but you know, Grant in that leadoff position, when I'm looking through her stats, I'm thinking, man, she would be an incredible leadoff hitter for as much as she gets on, as little she strikes out. But then again, it is nice having her in a situation with runners on base to come through.
Here's Alexis Ramirez in the 5-hole. 2 home runs yesterday for Ramirez and 6 RBI. Rifled foul, and it's 0-1. Ramirez made her debut on March 22nd, coming off a knee injury last season. You look ahead to the postseason, Amanda, and getting Ramirez bat in the lineup with the kind of power she's shown in this series, that's a huge asset for UCLA to go along with what they already have.
Well, that's a huge goal of theirs, and why they're now easing her back in behind the plate. Not only is she an incredible receiver behind the plate, but the way she's been swinging the stick, that's the athlete you want in your lineup every day. So a little at a time, a couple of innings last weekend, a couple of innings today, and you know, hopefully during that Big Ten tournament, you'll see more and more, and at full swing headed into the postseason.
2 balls and 2 strikes. To third. Donahue starts the relay, and the throw to first not in time. Ramirez legs out the double play. So just 1 out on the fielder's choice.
And we'll take a look at this replay. Yeah, it's a great call. Good hustle by Ramirez.
Grant out at second, and Riley Slimp, the batter. Ball 1 off the plate. And that was tipped. Foul ball, strike 1. Slimp's batting average has climbed over 500 in this series, and it was trending up before that as well. 3 for 4 on the weekend, but now down 1 and 2.
Yeah, nice spot on the outside corner. Ooh, that's a look at the previous pitch. Not tipped, but does go through it.
Slimp slices it up the third base line. Donahue holds on to the ball. Everyone's safe. Ramirez to second.
That's a tough call on this. There is so much spin that is right off the end of the bat. And because Donahue's back behind the base, you can see how deep she is. She has to run in hard. Slimp is able to beat that out.
Brings up Kanaya Bragg. Strike called, 0-1. 2 on with 1 out for UCLA in the bottom of the second. Northwestern scored a run in the top of the first to take the lead. Bragg's having a really good freshman season, but just 1 for 6 through 2 games this weekend. Did drive in a run yesterday, and she scored twice.
A really nice at bat so far by Bragg, who shifted down a little in the lineup, but you know with this lineup, she's going to come up with runners in scoring position. And Kanaya Bragg can swing it.
Bragg's from Garden Grove, California, Pacifica High School. You know anybody that went to Pacifica High, Amanda?
I know. It was fun to watch her. I had an opportunity to watch her since her freshman year and come up through in high school and then get the commitment to UCLA, come in and be an impact freshman. I mean, that's exciting. That's fun. Yes, I went to Pacifica.
Swing and a miss on a good changeup from Lauren Boyd. And that's the first strikeout of Boyd's day, 2 outs.
And a really tough pitch. She goes off speed. Look at how much spin is on that ball. Starts at the knees, down to the ankles. Zaborski picks it and makes the tag.
Here's Sofia Mujica. Swing and a miss, off speed again, right back to it. Mujica, the designated player today. She started or caught parts of the last 2 games in this series. Maggie Daniel has also been rotated in at the catcher spot defensively for UCLA in this set. Mujica just barely stays alive.
Yeah, Lauren Boyd has a similar approach that we're seeing from Tinsley on the other side. A lot of changeups being thrown back to back with the hard inside. So now if you're Mujica, you're thinking, got to protect against that off-speed pitch. She will throw it again, but also she's got that heat I've got to get the barrel to. It's a good 0-2 pitch.
Mujica does not chase it.
So these are those finishing pitches where you want them just close enough to where they're attempting on 0-2, but not hittable, not solid contact, no solid contact made.
Struck her out looking. Beautiful pitch from Lauren Boyd. UCLA strands runners on first and second. And we go to the third. 1-0 Northwestern. Boyd dealing again. And they straighten things out pretty quick on the Dizzy Bat race. And we start the third inning. 1, 2, and 3 due up for Northwestern. Taylor Tinsley throws one in the zone for Grace Nito, and she's retired by the shortstop, Kanaya Bragg. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Showing some great range and a strong arm, Bragg over at shortstop.
There's some freshmen in big roles for UCLA. You got a freshman at short. We saw Sofia Mujica catch 2 games, going on 3 in this series. She's a freshman. Riley Slimp out there in left field.
And Ramirez working it, being a wall behind the plate.
Kaylee Avasado, deep left, it is caught! Riley Slimp with a beautiful catch at the wall.
Well, Chris, you and I were having a conversation about knowing your home ballpark. And Slimp, she is just a freshman, but she understands where she is. This ball is deep. And instead of waiting for it off the wall, she goes up and gets it. Great read, has that arm extended, looking, feeling for the wall.
Slimp at 5'11", using her height to pull that one in. And in a series that has seen a lot of home runs, especially by Northwestern, a play made at the wall to keep the bases clear. Kelsey Nader takes a strike.
Tinsley working both sides of the plate. I love the inside that she's throwing hard. That first inning, we saw a lot of rise balls, changeups down. Now we're seeing east and west a little more.
A wave and a miss. 1 and 2 on Nader. Slapped ball foul up along first. Nader heads back to the box.
Yeah, this mix of pitches, the sequencing is so difficult to make adjustments to. Hard in, looking away, hard back in, change up down at the ankles. So Nader just working to stay alive.
Strike three called on the inside corner. Tinsley picks up another punch out. She's got 4 strikeouts already. But the play of the game, maybe the play of the series defensively, Riley Slimp in left field at the wall.
Slow and steady does not always win the race.
This is Caitlin Terry leading off the bottom of the 3rd inning for UCLA. She takes a strike from Lauren Boyd. No, it's only the bottom of the 3rd inning, but both starting pitchers in a rematch of Friday have been really good early on.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch because you would think the way the hitters were swinging yesterday that, you know, maybe the pitchers would have a taller challenge, but they've both risen to the occasion. We've seen some great defensive plays, which always keeps the momentum going for the pitchers, and so I think this is going to be a good game through the end. It's going to be close.
1-2 on Caitlin Terry, who was the starter in the circle yesterday for UCLA. She threw a complete game, allowed 8 runs, 7 earned, but struck out 9. And it was a crazy back and forth game yesterday. UCLA led 11-0 at one point before Northwestern ripped off 8 unanswered. Bouncing ball to third, Donahue on the move, throws Terry out 5-3, 1 away.
Donahue has just been incredible at third base, throwing on the run just in time to get Caitlin Terry. And it looks like they're looking at their scouting report, seeing positioning, what's been working, because every one of these fielders are shifting for each individual hitter. It's interesting to see it all play out, because so far it's really worked in Northwestern's favor.
Jessica Clements has had a good series hitting around Northwestern's defense. Grounded out to second in the 1st inning today. And that ball is just foul. How about that game yesterday? 8 runs in the 4th and the 5th for Northwestern to take a game that looked like it was going to end in a run rule and suddenly make it very competitive. But the decisive blow came from Alexis Ramirez with her 2nd home run of the day in the 5th inning. That gave UCLA some cushion again.
Not the start Northwestern wanted to give up to UCLA early in that game, but you've got to be proud of the way your team responded and finished out the game.
Clements lifts a 2-1 pitch to right center and down for a base hit at the base of the wall. Clements missed 2 bag. Another double, her 3rd of the series.
Clements tags this down and in pitch off the center field fence. Those long strides, quick speeds in, standing up for a double.
Savannah Pola in the 2-hole, Big Ten hits leader. And she drops a bunt, fielded by no one as Boyd and Saborski got their wires crossed, and still some motion on the bases here. Pola now in a rundown between 1st and 2nd. Clements got to 3rd on the play. She stays there. So just a bunt single for Pola. Now, maybe they'll assign an error there because of the lack of communication, but it doesn't result in any advancement of any runner, so it should just be a bunt single.
Yeah, that's a bunt single. It's a beautiful bunt. Nothing you would have been able to do had it been fielded cleanly. And then Pola taking a slight risk, but you know, because Northwestern cut her down at second, she goes back to first, and Coach Drohan's gonna call a timeout and kind of settle everybody down, make sure everyone's on the same page, especially with the first and third situation.
Kate Drohan in her 24th season as Northwestern's head coach. She's guided the Cats to 5 Big Ten titles, 17 NCAA tournament appearances, and 3 trips to the Women's College World Series, where in 2022 they faced off the UCLA Bruins and head coach Kelly Anoy Perez, who's taken the Bruins to 10 trips to the Women's College World Series in 19 seasons at the helm of her alma mater. Meeting dispersed in the circle, and Lauren Boyd works to Jordan Woolery with 2 on and 1 out. Ball 1.
And what UCLA would love right now is to get Pola over to second base to eliminate the double play option.
Pulled foul up along third. Woolery did ground into a double play in the opener on Friday. It was not originally called a double play on the field. Upon review, there was runner interference called on Savannah Pola, which then officially led to the double play. Bouncing ball to third. Donahue throws home, safe at the plate. Clement scores, and UCLA has tied things up.
And this is a rough play because Woolery doesn't hit it really hard. Great job Donahue does of charging hard, but watch Clements gets that jump. As soon as she sees the angle down in the dirt, she hustles home. That's a tough play from Donahue, makes the best effort she can. But unfortunately, with the power of Woolery, you have to play deep behind the bag because you don't want her to hit it by you. And in that case, the soft hit in front is what got the RBI.
Megan Grant takes a changeup off the plate, 1-0. Grant was hit on the first pitch of her plate appearance 1 inning ago. 23 home runs, most in the Big Ten, 73 RBI, most in the conference as well. Savannah Pola and Jessica Clements have been run-scoring machines, hitting 1-2 in the UCLA lineup and letting Woolery and Grant bring them in. Clements with a run to tie the game here in the third inning, and Pola in scoring position. Three and nothing to Megan Grant, who is hitless in the series. Ball 4.
I mean, not the athlete you want to have to pitch to with a couple of runners on base. So the walk loads them for UCLA. A pinch runner, Lauren Hatch, will go out to replace Jordan Woolery at second. But unfortunately, as we talked about, when you've got a hitter like Grant, what she's able to do, she does so well because of the athletes that surround her. Alexis Ramirez, yesterday, a couple of home runs. So it's, if it isn't Grant, if it isn't Woolery, it's Ramirez, it's the top of the lineup getting on. I mean, there aren't very many options for throwing around hitters.
Pick your poison. Ramirez reached on a fielder's choice in the second. There's Lauren Hatch, the pinch runner. One of the seniors being honored today for UCLA. Their numbers painted into the outfield grass. There's Riley Grudzelanek in the Northwestern bullpen. Grudzelanek pitched 2+ innings yesterday. And Boyd, remember, threw a complete game on Friday, but only on 94 pitches. Boyd looking for a ground ball. Strike called, 0-1.
Well, the crowd for UCLA didn't like this location. A great job. Saborski pulls that pitch just to the top of the strike zone, the bottom of the strike zone.
Call comes in. 1-1 pitch coming up. Bouncing ball past Donahue and into left field. It's a base hit. Hatch scores the second run for UCLA. Pola in first. And Alexis Ramirez with 2 more RBI on her stellar line.
Donahue at third base has been so incredibly steady. This ball was hit hard, but it kind of took that awkward hop and gets past her. A ball that she would say she should be able to handle, but instead goes off the outside of her glove. Lauren Hatch is off as soon as she sees that ball in the dirt because she's trying to avoid a force out at third as well, but instead is able to come around and score.
UCLA has scored 3 runs in this inning. However, it's not gotten out of hand yet for Northwestern. Ramirez on first. Grant on second. And Riley Slimp in the air to center. It's run down by Ayanna Lindsay, and Grant scampers back to second to avoid the double play.
I think Grant got caught off a little too far off of second base. I think she was reading the emotions of the crowd. It sounded like that ball came off the bat a lot harder than it did. A nice job out there, Lindsay, of tracking that down and getting it into second as quickly as possible.
Ball gets away from Saborski. Both runners advance. Grant to third and Ramirez to second.
And Saborski is trying to pull this ball into the strike zone. She's been doing it well all game, and sometimes if you move away from the movement, it goes off the end of the glove.
First pass ball of the series for either team. 1-1 on Kanaya Bragg. grounded up past the third base bag, and Lisa Fernandez, third base coach, 27th season on the UCLA coaching staff.
And it's fun in this game, in this series in particular, to see the amount of years these coaches have put into their programs.
Bragg knuckles one to second. Nito throws her out, and the inning is over. 3 runs for UCLA on 3 base hits. They strand 2, but take a 3-1 lead into the 4th. Series finale between the Bruins and the Wildcats. Regular season finale as well, as Kansas Robinson leads off the top of the 4th for Northwestern, looking at a strike from Taylor Tinsley, who's got 4 strikeouts through 3 innings. Way high, 1-1. I know you've paid particular attention to defensive alignments, Amanda, and the corner infielders pinching for Robinson here. She lofts this ball to left, and Riley Slimp, a few steps shy of the track, makes the putout.
Yeah, I've been really in tune to what the defense has been doing, but UCLA hasn't played the depth that Northwestern has. They've always kind of hung around their bag, regardless of whether it's the biggest hitters in the lineup or the short game. They'll step a couple in front of the bag, maybe a step behind, but never an extreme type of shift.
Izzy Kania pops the ball high into the air, and the shortstop Kanaya Bragg makes the catch in foul territory.
And that's what we want to see out of Bragg. And Friday, there was a couple of instances of miscommunication or over-communication. Here you see Kanaya Bragg taking control of a ball that's hers.
And Woolery went out to play it as well, but Woolery ranging straight back from third. Bragg had the angle coming over from short. One-0 pitch, twisted foul, 1-1. Cats would love to have Bridget Donahue get going here in this series. Co-leader in home runs with 8 bombs on the season. Had a hit in the opener and has not registered a hit since. This is bunted. Woolery watching it, and it's fair. Picked up off the chalk. It just did not roll completely into foul territory. And UCLA had to pick it up before Donahue thought about taking second.
Well, sometimes it takes something like this to get yourself going, and Donahue finds the chalk line as close to being foul as it gets, but that is just touching the chalk.
It's got to drive you nuts as a defense, right?
I don't know, do you get down and just start, taking a couple deep breaths and try to blow that ball? I mean, it was centimeters from going foul, and there's nothing you can do. You have to see if it'll roll.
Throw to second, Donahue, she's out. Alexis Ramirez with the caught stealing to retire the side. And look at the reaction from her UCLA teammates. Alexis Ramirez getting it done offensively and defensively, wiping the bases of Wildcats. 3-1 UCLA. The Bruins flexing their defensive muscles in this game to steal base runners from Northwestern. How about this Between regular season and tournament championships, the new Big Ten teams have won a combined 15 titles. So USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington, those schools combined have won 15 Big Ten championships in their first season in the conference. And UCLA certainly a chance to add to that total in the Big Ten tournament. Oregon has clinched at least a share of the Big Ten regular season title in softball. Sophia Mojica bounces one foul. How do you feel nearly one season into the Big Ten, Amanda? You know, talking with people such as yourself with longtime affiliations with the Pac 8, 10, 12. You know, how does it feel to be almost 1 year into the Big Ten?
You know, surprisingly normal. It feels like we're hitting a stride. It was a tough transition, I think, because there was so much pride and history in the Pac-10, Pac-12. So it was tough to imagine what it would feel like to have that conference divided and scattered across the country. But, you know, it's fun to be in a conference with teams like Northwestern, Michigan, some of those Big Ten powerhouses, and combine to see what we can create. You know, there's obviously been challenges. We talked to Coach Inouye Perez about the travel schedule and traveling to different time zones and delayed flights and weather and all the things that we just haven't had to deal with staying up and down the West Coast. So the exhaustion that comes with travel and the schedule, you know, there's going to be a learning curve, but I think UCLA has adapted pretty well so far.
Mojica grounds it up the middle. Great play by Grace Nito, the second baseman, ranging to her right behind the bag.
And there's that shift. I mean, absolutely crushed, but look at where Nito's playing. She only has to go about 2 to 3 steps to her right, but that is a clear up the middle single in any traditional defense.
There is Grace Nito, shades on. Has started every game at second base for Northwestern this season. Caitlin Terry pulls it up to first, and it's caught by Kansas Robinson. 2 quick outs.
That turns hard, but Robinson, who is playing about even with the bag, goes over with the snag.
Jessica Clements, the batter, after Caitlin Terry retired on 1 pitch. This is up against the screen, foul. Tell you what, this series has had a lot. We've seen plenty of power from both teams and just some really fine plays made defensively. Slapped foul again by Clements.
You did kind of have a feeling that today would be a more steady game overall. It felt, you know, very one-sided in Northwestern's favor on Friday. Yesterday, it was huge swings back and forth, huge momentum swings. And then today, you kind of had the sense that, okay, everyone's gotten the itches out. We're just going to kind of play good, solid softball all around, and that's what we've seen.
Clements lifts it into left, and it's caught by Isabel Cania. Side retired in order, thanks in part to some great D by Northwestern. Nito with the pick behind second, and the snag by Robinson at first. The grill there. Good eats outside the ballpark as we welcome you back inside the stadium. Top of the 5th inning here with UCLA ace Taylor Tinsley dealing a first pitch strike to Lauren Saborski, who, remember, was at the plate in the 4th inning, which ended on a runner caught stealing. Nothing in 2. How was the tailgating scene when you were playing here, Amanda? Was it as legit as it was today before senior day?
You know, I'd say we set the tone, I think. Well, I don't know. It was during my career. I'm biased, but yeah, I don't think, yeah. If you come here, the parents, they're strong, they're proud, they're ready to get together and celebrate, especially on a day like today.
Two and two. Look at this, the tents, I mean the shirts, the games, got big Jenga, Plinko by the look of it. I mean, that, you can stack that up against any pregame atmosphere, any sport.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I was here early, really early, and as you mentioned, there was zero parking. The party was already, looked like it was in full swing.
Bruins hoping that another long postseason run is in their immediate future. Advanced to the Women's College World Series last season. Ultimately lost to Oklahoma and Stanford after beating Alabama to start the Women's College World Series. Numbers of the seniors painted into the outfield grass, the legends on the outfield wall as Saborski turns this one foul. The 1999 season, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's an awesome recruiting tool also, the history that has come through this program and the athletes, and they continue to come back. The alumni here is so strong, and you know, it's easy to fall in love with a program like this and a coach like that and a staff that Coach Inouye Perez surrounds herself with.
Saborski really battling here. She was down 0-2 right away and has worked the count even and has fouled a few off here.
Coach Lisa Fernandez, one of the greats to come through this program and then continue her coaching career.
Got to build a bigger stadium
Yeah,
to
we thought we
include all of the Hall of Famers and legends and All-Americans. Strike three. Saborski finally retired, one out.
Yeah, nice long at bat. And that's that finish pitch that Tinsley's been looking for, just gets it above the barrel. And that's Alexis Ramirez. She's still back there. She's popping up. Looks like she's feeling good. We were expecting to see her maybe 3 or 4 innings. We're in the 5th.
Bragg retires Lindsay on one pitch. The updated Big Ten standings, just one game remaining after us today. Michigan State, Oregon, which you can see here on Big Ten Network. Top 4 teams in the Big Ten regular season standings get a bye in the Big Ten tournament. Top 12 advance to the tournament. So the cutoff line right after Purdue. Purdue, the host team, coincidentally, for the Big Ten tournament this year. The last team in the field. One and one on Avery Garden. He struck out in the second inning, but has really started to bloom here late in her first-year campaign. Keep an eye on her.
Yeah, sometimes you put a newcomer or a freshman down there at the bottom of the lineup to let them get acclimated. But Avery Garden has really proved herself to be a strong presence down there. That second leadoff turns the order over really well.
We've really enjoyed watching Alexis Ramirez both at the plate all series long, but especially today behind the dish, where she's making her first start since February of 2024 following a knee injury. First start in the catcher's position, and she's had an impact defensively on this game.
That was a huge throw out to get Donahue stealing at second. That throw was right on the money. Great tag applied by Pola. And part of working yourself back in behind the plate is coming up in those situations and knowing you can do it and executing plays like that.
Garden flies out to Slimp in left, just inside the line. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for Taylor Tinsley and the UCLA defense. Middle 5. Fox Sports app coming your way Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific from Bittinger Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana, home of the Purdue Boilermakers. Savannah Pola leads off the bottom of the 5th for UCLA with ball 1. Bruins were just in Ann Arbor, Michigan last weekend, so they're turning around, heading right back to the Eastern time zone next weekend.
And that's one of the challenges we were talking about being in this new conference in the Big Ten, is not only are the time zones changing, sleep schedules change, weather changes, these student athletes are still trying to do well in school. They're in midterms right now, and so trying to stay on top of that throughout all the travel can be challenging, but hey, that's what you sign up for when you play big time ball.
Pola drives the ball to right center, and Lindsay makes the catch on the track.
That's a fantastic catch in center field, but Pola just having a senior season, dropping a gorgeous bunt in her last at-bat and then going to the wall right after.
Jordan Woolery capable of plenty of versatility at the plate as well. Everyone talks about the power numbers, 19 home runs, 72 RBI, but capable of spraying the ball all over the field. Hit 3 singles yesterday, all on solid contact. That's roped foul up to Bridget Donahue at third. Fielder's choice RBI for Woolery today to bring her RBI count up to 72 now on the season, just one shy of her teammate Megan Grant for the team lead. There's Grant waiting on deck. 145 combined RBI between those two. That's one of the highest totals for a duo in UCLA program history.
Yeah, I mean, that's consistency and that's performance over time. These two, since their freshman season, we've been talking about them in tandem, Woolery and Grant, and they've lived up to the expectation, and they just continue to get better.
Ball 4 to Woolery. She works a 1-out walk.
I believe that's the first ball or base on balls awarded by Boyd this entire weekend. She just has not been giving up free passes. Well, there's one to Grant back in the third, but really she's been attacking the zone, and it's not been like her to throw 4 balls.
Well, Grant doesn't count, right? You know, just with her power. You walk Megan Grant, that doesn't mean anything as a pitcher.
Yeah, Grant hasn't seen anything today. Hit by pitch and then a walk.
Pulled to first. Robinson tags the bag and throws off the glove of Avasano, the shortstop, and Woolery gets up and jogs to third with the ball rolling into left field.
A lighthearted conversation. There's this ball, look where Kansas Robinson is playing. She's so close to her bag. She touches it for the out at first and then throws across, trying to get that second tag play at second base. Gets tangled up with the throw and the runner, and then Woolery gets up and gets over to third.
Ball 1 to Alexis Ramirez. Error charge to Kansas Robinson, the first baseman on the play, to allow Woolery to advance from second to third. Foul up along third, 1 ball and 1 strike to Ramirez, who once again has probably the pivotal base hit of this game as well, a 2 RBI single with the bases loaded in the third.
And right now, if you're looking at this series and whose barrel you want to avoid, it's turning out to be Alexis Ramirez, especially, you know, 2 outs, you've got a runner in scoring position. She's the one that's been swinging it hot.
That's inside. Two and two.
Now, pitch on the outside part of the plate, and Northwestern is playing that huge shift again where Nito, the second baseman, is playing up the middle on the shortstop side of second base. A huge gap going out into right field. Nobody in right field.
Here comes Michelle Gascoigne, the Northwestern pitching coach. Former Oklahoma Sooner. Activity in the Northwestern bullpen. We saw Riley Grudzelanic warming up earlier in the game. Now it's Renee Cunningham joining her, warming up in the bullpen. Double barrel action.
Coach Kate Drohan's had so many great things to say about her pitching coach, Michelle Gascoigne, and the experience she has and the knowledge and wisdom she's able to provide her pitching staff.
Two with 2 outs, a runner on third, bottom 5. And Ramirez in the air, right center field. It is caught. And the danger averted for Northwestern. 3-1, we've played 5 at Easton Stadium. Next, Fisher pitched in the opener on Friday. She has not sustained a loss on her record. One of just 4 pitchers in all of D1 softball with an unblemished ledger this late in the season. And again, Fisher doing it as just a freshman. She works to Grace Nito at the top of the Northwestern lineup with ball one. Nito, a flare, and it falls for a base hit. In front of the dive of Jessica Clements. Nito with her second single of the day.
And Clements is going all out, and as soon as she notices that she's not going to be able to catch it, she flips her glove to make sure that it doesn't get by her. If that ball gets by her, Nito's at least at second base. So good job of keeping that ball in the glove.
Kaylee Avasado takes ball one up and in. Avasado unloaded on a 1-0 pitch in the third inning that was caught high up the wall by Riley Slimp in left field. Looked like it was at least extra bases off the bat. Fouled right off the quad. A dribbler foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's Sophia Mujica in the game catching for UCLA. We were told that Alexis Ramirez, who started the game catching, would not play the entire game defensively. Mujica, the designated player on the starting lineup card today. Avasado grounds to third, Woolery to second, relay throw to first. The ball is dropped by Grant. Avasado safe on first, Nito out at second, and there's one away.
Now right to Woolery, who knows exactly what she wants to do with this, throws a strike, and then Pola knows she's got to hustle with that throw. Looks like it gets caught up in the palm and not able to get a good grip.
Strike called to Kelsey Nader.
And Addison Fisher has had her fair share of starts in this season, but has also been utilized a lot in that relief role.
That's grounded up the middle, a base hit into center field. Nader aboard, and Avasado advances to second.
And Nader with a solid hit up the middle, just out of the reach of Bragg.
And this is grounded up first and foul. Just below the bag, Megan Grant gloved the ball, almost wished it were fair, as it would have been a double play opportunity for UCLA. Robinson representing the go-ahead run at the plate. And she pulls it to second. Pola underhands to Grant. UCLA takes 1 out on the play. There are 2 outs, but Northwestern now has runners on second and third.
Now moves the base runners over into scoring position, but there are 2 outs. So it's going to take a solid base hit to score a run.
Isabel Cunha, a dribbler, kind of in no man's land. Grant has no play. However, Nader is able to get to third, and Avasado scores to make it a 1-run game.
And as soon as I said it's going to take a solid base hit, all the scenarios went through my head as to how Northwestern can score. This really didn't come in to factor the cue ball off the end of the bat. There's not a whole lot you can do with that. Base runners are off on contact because there are 2 outs, so that run scores.
Bridget Donahue takes ball 1. It's still a solid base hit, Amanda, just in a different sense.
You're right.
So you were right with the Kania coming up any way possible for Northwestern. Donahue takes ball 2.
We'll see if Northwestern tries anything on the bases with 2 outs, that runner on third, to try to squeak across that tying run.
Ball 4. Bridget Donahue works a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded.
And a really patient at bat by Donahue. A couple of those pitches were pretty close.
Well, remember, in a much different kind of game yesterday, much more runs were scored yesterday. Northwestern still clawed their way back, down 11-0, made it 11-8, and here we go again, 6th inning. Northwestern down 3-1 at the start. They've scratched a run across already and have a chance to take the lead here with the bases loaded.
Yeah, even though Northwestern didn't come away on top in yesterday's game, they're pulling from those little victories, coming back from an 11-run deficit to claw back to make that game close is a victory in itself. So you've got to believe that when you're down by just 1 run, with so much of the game left in their eyes, they've got the belief that they can do this.
Big moment here for the senior, Lauren Saborski. She has struck out twice today, but has had a good series at the plate, coming in 2 for 6 with 3 runs, a home run, and an RBI entering today. Also 6 for her last 18, so expanding the sample size a little bit, Saborski has been consistent at the plate in April and now into early May. Ball 1. Nader on third, Kania on second, and Donahue on first. Saborski, foul ball, left field side. Fisher finds the mark, 1 and 2.
Yeah, throwing that changeup with a lot of confidence, and now working ahead of Saborski, bases loaded.
Time called. Saborski asked for it.
That's a really nice pitch by Fisher. Taking that drop ball right over the top of the kneecaps. Getting Saborski swinging.
Saborski battling. Fisher with that great drop ball that ends up out of the zone, but tough to lay off. Saborski, left field, curling foul, and just beyond the reach of Riley Slimp, who almost ran that one down for the inning-ending out.
We've seen Slimp make some really nice plays out there in left field. This would have been an incredible final out of this inning.
Another 1-2 pitch. Here it is. Ball 2.
It's a great at-bat by Saborski. Very patient, swinging at pitches in the zone. Also keeping her eye out for that off-speed.
Saborski, center field, a base hit. Nader scores. Kania scores. And here comes Donahue. Saborski clears the bases, and Northwestern has the lead.
Saborski coming through with such a clutch base hit up the middle just in front of Clement, who comes up and fires the ball home, trying to cut down that second run. But it does end up taking an extra hop up over the glove of Mujica, who's going to apply that tag. And because that ball gets by, Donahue around for that third run of this inning.
And Taylor Tinsley is coming back into this game. Addison Fisher came into the game to start this inning after Taylor Tinsley started and threw the first 5. Fisher to the dugout, and Tinsley will try and get the Bruins out of this 6th inning, final series of the regular season. UCLA has lost a 3-1 lead here in the top of the 6th inning. 4 runs have scored for Northwestern. Most recently, a 2 RBI bases loaded single for Lauren Saborski. There was an error committed on the throw in by center fielder Jessica Clemens that allowed a 3rd run to score. And UCLA has put its starter back into the ballgame. Taylor Tinsley deals a strike to Ayanna Lindsay. Saborski on 3rd. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ramirez back into the game to catch as well. Pulled foul up along 3rd. Lindsay has had some extra base pop in this series, a double and a triple. Two and two.
Yeah, the crowd, they're in this, and Tinsley is throwing some nice pitches. She wants out of this inning.
Struck her out. Tinsley does get out of the inning. She strikes out Lindsay, but Northwestern takes the lead with 4 runs in the frame. 4 base knocks and an error. 5-3 Cats, middle 6. This one on the road Friday night, 6-4. Oregon run-ruled Sparty 14-0 yesterday to clinch a share of the Big Ten regular season title. Oregon can win it outright if UCLA loses this game. Riley Slimp is the batter, and Lauren Boyd back to work. 1-0. Slimp has been a tough out this series. Flew out to center in the third, but hasn't been retired much. Bouncing ball to short. Avasado retires Slimp, who's 1 for 3 on the day.
And that pitcher, Lauren Boyd, the way that she works out there, the rhythm she keeps, you can see the defense plays a different game behind her. Their positioning is on target. She hits her spots.
Bragg rolls the first pitch foul. Now there is a pathway here for Northwestern to get out of this game without having to face Jordan Woolery or Megan Grant again, but they'd have to face the minimum the rest of the way. The 0-1.
I think that would be ideal. Obviously, in the very least, you want to be facing those hitters with nobody on base. So face the minimum as long as you can and make sure that when you do face Woolery or Grant, that your bases are empty.
Infield very deep on Bragg here.
A nice take by Bragg.
One thing we haven't had in this game is a home run. As you see the 2-1 pitch that made the count 3-1. Saborski liked the pitch from Boyd. Fair ball to third. Donahue retires Bragg. 2 up and 2 down.
I think they used them all up in yesterday's game. We saw so many of them. But I'll tell you, the way that Northwestern has been playing, and I'm talking about it a lot, but their heels on the grass line or them just being completely on the grass, they're really forcing UCLA to have to hit line drives to the outfield. There's just not a lot of options to hit the ball in the dirt unless it's an awkward mishit between fielders. But Northwestern has just really eliminated any hard hit ground ball.
This is Sofia Mujica, who is back in the designated player position. She caught the start of the top of the 6th inning with Addison Fisher in the game to pitch. UCLA does not have a base hit since the 3rd inning. 3 runs on 3 hits in the 3rd. No hits since. Swing and a miss.
Taking a little bit off of that, you could see Mujica out on her front foot.
Swing and a miss, struck her out. And the inning is over. Lauren Boyd has pitched brilliantly all weekend long. And we go to the 7th. 5-3 Northwestern. Top of the 7th inning from UCLA. Northwestern with 4 runs in the 6th inning to take the lead in pursuit of a series win against UCLA. Avery Garden leads off the inning. She She has home runs in the first 2 games of this series. Friday, she went to right field down the line. And Amanda, Saturday, she went to left center.
Yeah, Avery Garden has been fun to watch out of that 9 spot because you expect to see some action. You want that hitter to be able to have effective at-bats and turn the lineup over, but she has been explosive. Unleashing on that swing, just swinging through a rise ball. And no hit in this ball game, but she's swinging like she's seen the ball big.
First-year player out of Allen Park, Michigan. Off speed, nothing in 2. Cats are looking for insurance here in the 7th.
That's a good idea with that pitch, and I think Tinsley looks really sharp. She started the game well, and then having come back into this game, her pitches are hitting their spot. She's throwing really good, effective out of the zone pitches.
First team all Pac-12 a season ago, and was named Big Ten Pitcher of the Week at the start of the Big Ten season in mid-March. Has thrown a no-hitter this season. Back on March 8th, her second career no-no. Garden rolls it to Pola at second. Nice play by Savannah Pola. 1 out.
Avery Garden almost found the grass out in right field, but Pola ranging to her left to make a nice play.
Nito lines it to third, and Jordan Woolery catches it for the second out.
Woolery is up that line. We talked about positioning. Look where the third base bag is and where she is.
He was halfway down the line, Amanda.
You got to be on your toes and ready, and that was an inside-out swing, so something you don't expect a lot of times for a hitter to take an inside pitch and go that far opposite field.
1-0 to Kaylee Avasado. Tinsley staying away from Avasado here. A lot of pop in the first-year shortstop's bat, but does not have a hit today, just 1 hit in the series.
Coming right back through the zone with the curveball. 2 outs here. You don't want to put any hitter on via the free pass. You want to go right at and allow your defense to get that third out.
That ball foul from the moment it left the bat, but it left the yard for what it's worth.
Yeah, and those ones you have to take a deep exhale as a pitcher and know I put that pitch in the right spot. That's why it was that far foul, even though she connected on it.
To third. Woolery takes care of Avasado, and Northwestern takes a 2-run lead into the bottom of the 7th inning. Terry, Clements, and Pola, 9-1-2, bat for the Bruins, down 2 in the bottom of the 7th. Eugene Lisa Byington, Jenny Ritter on the call, and we'll get you to the site up in Eugene as soon as we wrap up here. That game currently on the Fox Sports app if you're looking for it. Lauren Boyd clips the corner on Caitlin Terry, and the count is 0-1. UCLA down to its final 3 outs. 0-2.
Those are a couple of really nice strike pitches on the outside corner. I mean, that's about as far outside as you're going to get a pitch called for a strike. And Boyd has really found that zone.
Terry working on a 6-game hit streak coming into this game. 1-2 the count. She's 0 for 2 today. Rally caps are on. Rally visors are on in the UCLA dugout. Bouncing ball. Kansas Robinson got the tag on. Terry is out.
Kansas Robinson had to make a quick decision on this. Terry out of the box. It looked like it was going to be trouble. And that's a tough spot for Terry to be in because she's trying to not only avoid the tag, but also get to that bag.
That's just another one of those 50-50 plays, you could call them, that more often than not Northwestern has made this weekend. Huge out to keep the leadoff runner off. And Jessica Clements at the plate, batting with 1 out and the base is empty.
The Bruins are just looking for 1 base runner at a time.
Again, what can you say about Lauren Boyd this weekend, Amanda? I mean, she has allowed 3 runs in over 13 innings, roughly 13 innings pitched, over 12 innings pitched, working on 13. And, you know, that's a long time for UCLA to see Boyd. As Clements grounds this one to second, Bruins are down to their final out, and they just haven't been able to solve Lauren Boyd.
Yeah, I think Boyd is a huge reason, the main reason why the Wildcats are in this position to win the series, because of the way she came out on Friday. If you don't come out with the confidence to do what she did, then Northwestern's already got their backs against the wall. They're facing a tough Bruin team. You could look at the stats on paper and feel already defeated, but Boyd came out and absolutely handed it to the Bruins on Friday. And then today, her performance today to continue with that after UCLA has seen her as much as they have, like you mentioned. She has continued to make the adjustments in the circle as UCLA is trying to do the same in the box.
In tight on Savannah Pola, 2-0. Not over yet, but only 3 strikeouts for Lauren Boyd today. I mean, this has not been a dominant game in that sense from the circle. I love the point that you made about how the defense plays around Boyd, because they are in sync. Boyd and the defense, she is letting the defense work behind her.
And when you talk to coaches about that, the importance of your pitcher in the circle sticking to the game plan and hitting their spots, it allows your defense to play in the necessary shifts, knowing that you're going to hit your spot, and more times than not, that outcome is going to be what you're looking for. You're in better position, and we've seen that with Northwestern this entire weekend.
And yet, The tying run is only on deck for UCLA, and it's Jordan Woolery. Boy, would the Bruins love to get her to the plate one last time. That's ball 4 to Savannah Pola. Don't go anywhere.
I love Woolery stepping up to the box with 2 outs, her team down. She's the tying run, and she's smiling. She's ready. She loves situations like this.
Any particular strategy you'd like to highlight, Amanda, either for Boyd or for Woolery?
I mean, for Woolery, it's, yeah, you see that run on first, you know you're the tying run. I mean, that's not a secret, but not getting caught up in that and just focusing on, as we've talked about, she's a spray hitter, she's a base hitter. She will hit the long ball, but she will also hit a double. She'll get herself on base. Her teammate on deck can come up with big power. So one pitch at a time and just trying to get herself on base first and foremost.
The 0-1. In the air, on the diamond, Robinson makes the catch at first, and Northwestern wins the series. 13 beautiful innings from Lauren Boyd, and the Cats take 2 on the road against UCLA. Final thoughts, Amanda?
You've got to tip your cap to Northwestern for coming in and owning this series against UCLA. Starting in the circle with Lauren Boyd, she led her team, and the offense came through strong.